featuring Franz Maruna and Andrew Embler.
Hello! Welcome to Totally Random. I'm Franz. This is Andy. This is your periodic chit-chat show about Concrete5. Periodic. You like that?
I do like that.
It used to be weekly, but with the holiday season, it's been more periodical. Let's just jump right into it. In news, well, the holidays were nice.
They were nice.
I learned patience at Disneyland. Yes, it's a great lesson of patience that Walt has to teach all of us.
That's his true magic.
That's his true gift. Just wait a minute, guys. You got 45 minutes before you get to shake my hand. Yeah, that was something. Anyway, back in the saddle.
Nice.
And we posted a bunch of thoughts around next version 5.7. Well, not the next version. The next major, deep rethinking version that we're working on.
We throw out every lesson learned and start something new.
Start anew.
No.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, if you are interested in what we're thinking about and what the future holds in 2013 for Concrete5, you should go read the blog post and assorted children pages. You want to fire that up, dude? There you go. Right there. In the blog, you go to Open Source and Strategy 5.7 Roadmap. You see a long, actually edited several times, rant for me, and then a bunch of pages.
Yeah, don't miss those. Those are important.
Yeah, go to the actual pages, read them all. They all relate to one another. I broke them up just because it's so extensive and the screenshots and whatnot. Yeah, some of it's super technical, some of it's kind of businessy. Some of it's got ET in it. All of it's winter. Pretty cool. And of course, there's emerging discussion attached to the bottom of these pages that's happening both in chit chat and in community leaders. I would urge folks to let's try to get the chit chat thread going there. I posted the community leaders section when I first launched it, and I think that only one person has posted the chit chat forum where it's also
why it's not pulling
that in.
He's not logged in. He's not logged in. He not logged in.
I'm sure there are things that people would like to discuss in private. I'm happy to do that, community leaders. But if there's anything you want to discuss in public, I know there's a lot of people who are very passionate about Concrete5 and are just as valuable members of the community as a whole, but perhaps not have not achieved enough karma points to have the community leader badge and access to those private forums. So if we could migrate some of that debate, if we want to the public-facing chit-chat area, that'd probably be as good in the big picture.
Yeah, both conversations are good.
Both conversations, great. In other news, we've got 5.6.1 BA 4A 2 coming out.
The beta 1.
Beta 1
of 5.6.1 will be will be available for download from concrete5.org sometime later today. It should update previous installations of Concrete5. It's not. There are some fairly extensive updates in it. Oh, that's exciting.
Oh, maybe that's just on top. Wow, that's weird.
What's happening?
I'm looking at Matt's IM list here. All right, sorry.
No, that's okay. There are some fairly extensive updates, not necessarily in tons of new features, but a lot of under-the-hood tweaks for performance and caching, and particularly sort of dialing back some of the caching and rethinking how we're doing it. So it's definitely something that we want to test. It also fixes a number of bugs and some cross-site scripting, minor things, and so I will post that later today. It will be a beta, so it's not going to go out. It's going to be something a little more experimental, but you won't have to go to Git to get it. And I will also post a list of the updates that are coming along with it as well, so people know what is different, what they should look at.
So, incremental release, fixes a bunch of bugs, makes things faster, getting out the door before we start really focusing on 5.7, because it's going to take a little bit of time, and
we will, so we made a big concerted push on Git a few weeks before Christmas, and got it down to around 30 issues open in pull requests, and now there are like 120, because one large commit was broken into many smaller commits. But the good news is that commit, all those commits look, at least of that variety, look, reasonably easy to apply. So over the next week, we will be making another pass through GitHub and pulling those into master, and so you can expect some more cleanup in 5.6.1. But yeah, so once that's available, I'll post the forums, and you guys should check it out.
Right, so just to clear up any potential ambiguity, we would like to release 5.6.1.
Yes.
This is a beta.
Yes.
Y'all need to install it and test it. We will frantically fix anything that you find next week.
Yeah.
And then we plan on releasing it.
Yes.
Next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
It should be much less wholesale under the hood changes. That it should be much less of a whole experience change than this large blog post about 5.7.
Oh yeah, no, it's just a little, just a little release.
But it does rethink caching and rework caching in a fairly fundamental way. So with good results from what we've seen. So you will want to. We're testing this. We're using this on sites, but you'll want to do this as well. And let us know what you find.
Please help. Cool. That's the news, as best I know. How's karma?
And the weekly karma winners, come on down.
All right. So we have a karma machine that runs. We have community points that people get for doing stuff, and every week someone wins. What's happening, Matt?
Looks like we got Jordan Lev winning a copy of Vertical Content for helping people.
Nice.
We have Peter Vernalia winning a copy of Pop-Up Pro for promoting concrete5.
Excellent.
Prope up.
Propopo.
And then we have a copy of Domain Mapper going to Sharrock for doing work.
Doing the work.
What's vertical content? Sounds cool. That's nice. Oh, there you go.
Content that's vertical.
Boom.
Ask a silly question.
I suppose. Well, I don't know what I was expecting, to be honest. It's
awesome.
Fairly what I was expecting.
Well, that is good. Thank you very much for everybody who helps. We would not be here without your help, so we do deeply appreciate it. And thank you for the marketplace developers who have offered their add-ons.
Yeah,
as you can tell from this
cool.
conversation.
Yeah, we're like, oh wow, new stuff.
Exposure is great for everybody. The marketplace is a vibrant community that has a lot of things happening, and it's difficult for anyone to know about everything for everyone. So that's good. If you would like to have one of your add-ons given away as a karma prize, you should find Julia online and send her a private message. Do we have any pictures this week?
Yeah, I think we got one.
All right.
This comes to us from 55 Web Design.
Nice.
That's a new office right there.
No office sticker on the wall. Nice background deal. The printer.
It's
Wow,
like-
he's stuck up.
It's like, no, those aren't backgrounds. Those are just stickers we put on the monitor.
Really?
We just do the work around the sticker. That's cool.
Well, whatever your process
Whatever
is.
floats your boat. I guess.
Cool, thank you.
Nice.
That's awesome. If you would like free stickers, we would be happy to mail them to you. All you have to do is go to the swag page underneath Marketplace on concrete5.org. You're going to want to scroll to the bottom of that page, past all the stuff you can buy. Heaven forbid we do that. And go ahead and give us a mailing address. Hey, ignore that. Mailing address. So Joe Bob is not, I cannot send it to just Joe Bob. And Joe Bob at hotmail.com doesn't cut it.
Get your head in the game, Joe
Come
Bob.
on, Joe Bob. How about a full address? You gotta have a number, you gotta have a street, there's probably some type of city, state, province, prefecture.
Some sort of postal code.
And usually there's a code at the end. It's
Usually.
numbers, it's letters, or something like that. We need all of that, and then we will put 5 stickers in an envelope with a thank you note. We'll put a stamp on it, send it to you. It's a fun and exciting way for us to spend an afternoon, and it's depressing when they come back in the mail. Yeah, could be nice. Could be. I'll send it to Timbuktu. Send them anywhere. But it does have to be a place I can actually send it. So that's how you get a sticker, and then you take a picture of it, you send it in, we give you karma points, you win free stuff, and it's awesome. That's karma.
Cool.
Now what? PRB?
Yeah, let's do it.
PRB.
Introducing Great Choice by Greg Joyce.
All right, that's good.
Hi, Greg. What great choice are you getting into today?
Well, I mean, I just found this out, but like, apparently, commercial aviation and wireless communications are a huge conspiracy to make certain people crazy.
I've heard about this.
Yeah, so I'm gonna.
Oh
I don't
god,
know.
is that chemtrails?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna start devoting a lot of my time to the kind of research and battling against these, you know, possibly reptilian overlords.
So that explains why you're carrying a gas mask today.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, what other great choices have you been pondering the last few weeks here?
Well, we got a lot of add-ons, you know, few themes.
Sweet, let's look through them all.
Okay. We have first up the whale Nivo Slider, and this is the Nivo Slider jQuery library.
Sure.
Very popular.
I remember that.
This one is a free add-on, so there's that.
Does it have whale images in it?
Yeah, well, then why is it never?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's developed by Chirac. I usually say that at the beginning, but I forgot to this time. Yeah, Chirac developed this, so you'll have to ask him
Okay.
about the whale.
I will check it out and look for a whale.
And also, Chirac, use screenshots of your slider sliding next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. People like to see that.
Cool.
Oh,
What's good?
Next up is Where is my block?
Love it.
Or Dude, where is my block? And this is developed by Beebs93. This is, I believe, this is his first add-on in the marketplace. I mean, I don't know if this is actually the Beebs moonlighting as an open source developer, but
He's got time on his hands.
The paparazzi makes it so you can't go outside sometimes.
Right. He's on a notebook.
Yeah, right.
Notes.
Celebrity, famous, teen singers have a lot to do with open source guys. Like,
Wow.
Can't go out often.
This looks like something we've wanted for ages, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, this is actually, this is something that I've been like working on a site or whatever. And like, dang it, why can't I do this, Andrew? Well,
That's reasonable. That's
he's
reasonable.
given this to us, and
I've been putting the kibosh on this for years. Someone has found a way.
you fat cat. But yeah, so like this is pretty cool. You know, it does exactly what it says it'll do. And
Pick a block type, it tells you where it is.
No, that's really nice, especially
Fantastic.
if you know, as you work with sites over time and you decide to change out sliders or change out, you know, different blocks for new functionality, and you're like, I feel like I've got more copies of that floating around, but
Totally.
my site's huge. And yeah, absolutely.
Past versions and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great, good stuff.
And it's a big one, and it's free as well.
Free is awesome.
Yeah.
Jobs.
And
Jobs to jobs.
Ooh, jobs.
Job is John the Fish add-on, and this one will, if you have jobs that are caught in their running state, it'll reset them. So I think it's intended to go with like his other jobs add-ons. So it's like you could have this thing croned or something to run like 2 hours or whatever after you run all of your jobs to clear out any ones that might have got stuck. So yeah.
Okay.
And it is a free add-on.
There you go.
That's it.
This is Clear Cache.
Clear Page Cache.
Clear Page Cache, and this is developed by Digia3, and it'll let you clear the cache, but only on particular pages that you actually want to clear the cache for. So it's like if you're kind of developing on a live site and you don't want to rob them of their caching ability,
Or you're afraid of
clearing
your entire site's
what
cache.
might happen. Yeah, all those
Fair enough.
image links that can sometimes happen. This is a
Just clear the page you want to work
just
on.
the one you're working on, and actually,
Brilliant.
this one is it's also free. Oh no, this one's $15.
Ah, well.
But
Man up.
yeah, there you go. Okay, and up next is payment method for e-commerce by Giro, and this is an Australian payment gateway,
Nice.
Nice.
and that's what that does.
Cool.
Next up is the newest add-on from Radiant Web, and it is called Stacks Search, and it will find stacks on your site according to keyword or stack title, and it uses like a Ajax interface, and it is free.
Nice. Got background picture too. Good.
So that's a good one for if you have like content or something that you don't know where it's coming from. Next up is Register User Pro from JV1, and this one is kind of like a more advanced version of the login block. Lets people, you can put a block on your page, and if you don't, I think it makes it also basically the main reason that this is, it makes it easier to brand a site with the site's theme for things like the logging blocks. I believe by default those kind of pull in the overall dashboardy look of concrete5. So this lets you pop it into any page you want.
Nice.
And this is $15.
Cool.
Next up is Valhalla Responsive, and it's by C5 Theme Team. And it's a black and red and white responsive theme. I didn't run through this one. Matt, does it have like color options or anything, or is this?
I didn't notice any color options, but maybe it's just approved about a week ago. So
yeah, it comes with the CSS files if you want to mess with it.
Nice.
All right.
Looks good. I like that.
Yeah, no, it's clean and responsive.
Love me some more.
Next up is Cashvac by John the Fish, and this clears your cache like 5 different ways. All right.
What does that mean?
It's a job.
No, I get yeah. No.
It's a job.
But there isn't. All right,
it's a job that clears your cache, and it uses like it'll run the default concrete5 clear your cache thing, and then it'll like check some, like you can set a configuration value for it. Oh, and it'll also. Alright, so here's his description of it. The default method is in the dashboard clear cache command, a variation of the default method to only clear out cache that are out of date, and then, you know, entries that are over a week old or entries at a specified age, and then it also has an option to clear out everything that's similar to like running, you know, like RMRF in your cache.
Yeah.
It's like combing. It's combing your cache.
Yeah.
Right.
Tidying
Yeah,
things
it's
up.
just,
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
I guess it's to.
Yeah. Nice.
Nice.
Next up
That's
is
a coffee cup.
Color Box Pop-Up by Techno Junkie. Yeah, and that's like just an image I found on the internet because all of his screenshots are
It's a crock of pickles, dude.
how to configure it in your dashboard. And like,
We're not going to show that kind of stuff anymore. We're
I'm
going to go
getting
with the
tired
crock
of
of
it.
pickles
Yeah,
from now on.
when you have an
It's a
app
great choice,
that
frankly.
does something to your front page, like at least include a screenshot of it. Screenshots are not for documentation. You have a documentation page for every add-on where you could
Put your screenshots
use,
of
you
your
know, the
UI, yeah.
concrete5 content block to lay out stuff with annotation.
Totally
But-
agree.
I totally agree. It is kind of like you got a date with a hot lady and you decided to wear your PJs to just kind of skip the
Right.
the screenshot.
Yeah.
It was just the easiest thing
And
you could
I
do.
think really it's a problem with documentation. We should have. I will revise that to include what the dimensions of the dashboard marketplace image is, and
Sure.
suggest that your first image in your gallery of screenshots is something that
What it makes, not how to make it.
conforms to that, and you know really.
Yeah. So that being said, this poor person that now gets a crock of pickles, what does their add-on actually do?
It is a color box pop-up, and it opens a simple color box pop-up window from your site with any content. So you can, you know, add content to this block and.
What's a color box?
What
Is
is
that
it?
just a library for
It's
mobile?
another one of these fancy boxy kind
Oh,
of
okay,
things.
okay. So
okay.
it's not a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like the still open source original fork of the color box add-on.
So yeah, so a screenshot of that of the actual
Actual
image
modal
overlay.
window
Yeah, it would
would
be
be
a lot
awesome.
like showing me the car I was going to buy as opposed to just what was under the hood.
Yes.
Yes. And pickles are delicious.
Alright, and this is another one from John the Fish, and it's called the Cache Filler Job. And what this will
Fills your
do...
cache.
Don't jump to conclusions.
Okay.
No, what it'll do is it'll run through your site and cache all the pages.
Oh yeah, no, people have. I understand
It's
this.
sure. It's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
It might
And
tick
it's
off
free.
some hosting companies,
Well.
but no, I absolutely
That
understand
makes sense, yeah, because you have to do it on each page logo, so the first load's going to be slow.
And
so
and
build
sadly,
the cache.
due to the way that 5602 and earlier the cache works, it is a bit slower. I mean, it's noticeably slower when the cache isn't full rather than when it is full.
Built out.
Yeah.
Built out is probably a better, whatever.
Cache.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
nice.
Great.
Yeah, no,
there you go.
people-
Sure.
Yep. And then last is another John the Fish add-on called Jobs, and it's one job that will put your site in maintenance mode, and then another job that will clear the maintenance mode from your site.
Okay.
And this is to be used with like cron or flex.
Oh, I'm gonna run the cache filler tonight, which I know is gonna kill my server. So I'm gonna put the site in maintenance mode beforehand and then afterwards. Thinking.
And then Matt suggested you could actually, you could have your site operate only during normal business hours.
It's like, no, I'm going to bed.
Shut down.
I think it would be awesome. Instead of
A little like a
your
night
order.
and lights
That'd
turned
be
on.
awesome. Closed sign. Okay, cool. It's like a whole suite of.
And I think
job
we got them
extension.
all. I feel like there was one other kind of pop-up add-on that maybe we did not.
I can try to find this, and
It's like
if we dig into my mail here.
crock pop-up.
Let's just watch Matt. That's great.
Take a look at my mail account.
Sweet ads.
Where is it? Well, we'll find it.
Yeah. Why don't you come back to
There
us?
may be another.
Just keep searching.
Well then, what? Yeah.
See it.
Those are your choices.
Those are your choices.
Great choices, Greg Joyce. As always, a pleasure.
Still in control of my
Go
own
make some
mind.
money. Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to Gas Mask. Okay. Well, that was
Good stuff.
yeah. Where are we at? I think we're ready to do. How would we do it?
Let's do that.
Just do it.
How would we do that?
Well, we do stuff every day, and happy to tell you how. Yeah. Got any questions?
Yeah, we do actually have a couple of questions that were forwarded to us by John Fish, and these
Sweet.
are from last week sometime. He got some questions submitted, sent to Julia to make sure they got on the show this week. So
I love it. That's a great way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
makes my life easier too.
Yeah. We could have probably even prepped.
Yeah. Oh no, I've seen these.
We did prep.
We did prep.
Sweet.
I forgot them,
Oh.
but we saw them.
All right. Well, is caching changing? Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next one.
Apparently, yeah, I can see why you would ask that question,
Yeah.
John. I think caching is changed.
Yeah.
Tense.
So his question, with the cache changing in 5.7, this is actually changing in 5.6.1. So this is you can see these changes in the beta that I will post
now.
later today. From a programmer developer point of view, will the interface to the cache class remain the same? The answer to that is yes, but so if you actually use the cache today on sites in custom ways, none of that will change. The zendcash class is staying in concrete5, it is not changing. The concrete5 class that calls that is not changing either. So nothing should break as a result of that in terms of, custom code that you've written. It depends on that stuff. However, behind the scenes, stuff like the page class and the area class and the blocks, anywhere that use this cache, we're not using it as much as we used to. We've moved these functions into more optimized, specific, better, rather than cramming everything into this cache class, which causes all sorts of problems on slower servers, and it was a band-aid rather than having a band-aid. We decided to try and fix some of the underlying problems. Right?
Symptoms and disease.
Yes, exactly. So, so the answer to that is yes, but clearing your cache will not do as much because you shouldn't have to clear it as often because we won't be. There won't be very much of the cache. There will be stuff in different caches, but
Still
not
there,
in the Zend cache.
still accessible in the same way.
Yes.
Used dramatically differently.
Yes,
Boom.
and the Zend cache used very sparingly.
Sparingly
So
and differently.
we have learned lessons from caching, and we've applied some of them. We've thrown out a lot of caching.
Sure.
And seems a lot better on slower hosts.
Iterative development, baby.
Yeah.
Next question. What are the plans, or are there plans for upgrading jQuery and jQuery.ui versions?
We have upgraded jQuery in, I think, the 5.7 branch. I'll have to double check on that. We do try to update jQuery as they release new versions. I know that jQuery 2.0 is coming out at some point, and it's fairly different. I haven't had a chance to go through it at all, any of the betas or anything like that. But it is fairly different. It drops a lot of old IE compatibility, which I'm sure many developers would be fine with. We would probably have to have a conversation as to whether that makes sense for us. So in the future, we are still looking into that. But yeah, I believe one of those branches, I can't tell you which off the top of my head, has the latest stable jQuery and jQuery UI.
We can expand on this question for what are our philosophies on any number of the things that we rely on in terms of upgrading their versions. We've got jQuery, which we like to stay somewhat healthy on. Zend, which I don't think we have any intentions of upgrading to.
Yeah, we like to include Zend components as we need them. So as we've gotten bigger, we've included more stuff like mail, some authentication libraries in the future. There's a big one that we just include. Oh, just a bunch of locale and currency stuff, which are awesome. Once we include them, we upgrade them somewhat, but we have no plans to holistically upgrade to Zend Framework 2.0 at all.
We've got TinyMCE, which is in concrete5 today.
And we try to update.
We try to update from time to time, although it is reasonable to expect it will be gracefully depreciated in the future, which is in the notes about 5.7.
Yes.
What else is about it, right?
jQuery, which we keep up to date, as you said. A bunch of smaller third-party libraries. Oh, ADODB, our database library. That's a real pain to update. Remo has actually undertaken has actually done a lot of work on updating to the latest ADODB. And
he's a trooper.
Because he is a trooper. And the reason that he wanted to do this, I believe, was to get transactional support in MySQL. And as he's saying this to me at one point, I recall thinking like, oh my God, who needs any of that stuff? And then, of course, the next project that we're working on internally, we absolutely need that. And I'm like, oh, Remo's right. So, so ADODB we tried to update, but that's a big undertaking.
Yeah.
So
well, it looks like that's happening.
That is happening. It's in a separate branch, and that'll probably get pulled in 5.7, not 5.6.1. And then we try to keep other third-party libraries up to date when they absolutely require it. So if there's a security issue with something or really compelling new features, we'll look at pulling them in. Otherwise, we kind of
there's not that much else that we actually rely on, as I remember. So there you go.
Those are our thoughts.
There's some answers.
Yeah.
All right, got some questions.
Oh, Bootstrap.
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 Yeah.
That when we went to Twitter Bootstrap 2.0 with 5.6, that was a real pain in the butt. Even more so than bringing it in the first place was. Their API and their classes seem to have relatively, they're more mature at this point, so less likely to change wholesale like they did between 1 and 2. So we try to keep that up to date as well, but if it starts doing crazy stuff, we can hold off.
Yeah. That's always going to be something we have to work at bringing in.
Oh yeah,
as it is a design framework. If you let yourself be stuck in it, you're going to be dated very quickly.
Yeah.
So, but it's not something
we can't just drop those files.
Can't just drop it in. So it takes work, but I'm sure with 5.7 there will be some approach to bring that stuff back. And we'll probably even start using it more in our core feeds and that kind of thing.
Yep.
Boom.
So those are his questions.
Those are his questions, or other questions that we can provide answers to.
There are two. They're both from here and T. These are so far. If you got any more, please post them.
Let's have them.
First one is, when can we get our hands on the 5.7 beta?
Soon. Next. I mean, I said it in the post. There's no one on this planet that wants 5.7 more than me. You don't. I do. I mean, I want it so bad. For months I've wanted it.
And there's some cool crap in there.
There's
not
so
to
much
like
cool
make
stuff.
this more painful.
Yeah, like we want it. It's not like we're not worried about it. As soon as we can. If we had it, we'd give it to you. There's no magic happening here.
I think the underlying sentiment to that might be, well, we know there's development on it happening in Git, and some of that development is happening in private repositories.
Sure, yeah.
So
as soon as we reach a point where we're like, oh god, we're not going to completely undo that thing.
Yes,
because it slows things down a lot to do things and then undo them. And the other thing I can tell you in the spirit of transparency and soon is we will absolutely build in a schedule and share that schedule with you for a rollover period, if you will, of 5.7 is beta stable and play with the grid, update your themes, get your add-ons behaving with it. Completely recognize that there's got to be a serious window for our marketplace developers to build and add stuff for that. So totally get that concern, but I have no idea how quickly we're going to get it, unless you want to pay me a whole bunch of money, in which case I'd be happy to talk about a project plan.
Next question is, how does the board/tile thing work? The I believe this means the sort of
grid, yeah.
The grid.
Cool.
So,
Yeah.
something.
With Fubaz.
With the Fubaz? The Babu.
Was here.
It works in a masonry-ish type way. I don't know, that's a big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
If I had it to show you how it would work, I would egerly do that.
It's a bunch of notes in
some
my
notes
computer
and some ideas and a little bit of
sketches
prototyping
on
here and there.
Franz's whiteboard.
There are some screenshots that we could bring up and I'd talk about it a little bit, I guess, if we wanted to do that.
Sure.
Sure. All right, fire up that blog post, Matt.
Boom.
And if you go into, yeah, there you go, and fire yourself into the grid page. Scroll down. Oop, the grid.
The grid.
Yeah. Scroll down a little bit. Find me a good screenshot to look at here. How about, like, I don't know, one of these bad boys. Something. That was pretty decent, I guess. No, this isn't one to look at. Let's next our way through these guys a little bit. So big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll work, kind of. No, that's not great. Gar. What we're thinking of here is a flipboard inspired grid of tiles. This one, they're all the same size, so it'd be cool if we had one where they're different sizes. But yeah, it does exist somewhere. Keep going. And what it really is a block, similar to the pageless block, that you can aggregate other pages with. There we go. That one will work. That's one of the older ones, but that is, you know, that always reminds me of that dude from Prodigy. Oh, faster! Did
he have a coat like that?
Sweater like that.
Really?
Ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Anyways,
That's a good band.
all right, so look at it. Solid band. What we're thinking of here is to solve the what does social networking in concrete5 look like? What does my account area look like? Can I have a feed? You know, I want to make a page in my site that aggregates stuff. A grid-based layout. So Windows 8, Flipboard, Pinterest. You see this type of thinking happening across the web. And it works if you're careful. It's one of those things that, like, if you can go over the top and it completely doesn't work at all. You start having too many squares, no one can see any of it, it's just overwhelming. But if you get it right, it does give you this wonderful kind of balance of I actually want to meander through this content in ways that I didn't want to before. And if you don't believe me, all you have to do is go get Flipboard for your iPad and point it at your Twitter feed and your Facebook feed, which you probably find tedious and boring on the web, and recognize that, oh my god, they're using the same exact content I had in a simple list view and just displaying it as if it were a magazine, just putting some lightweight programmatic design sensibility on it, and now I actually want to read it. So it does work when you do it right. So our goal here is to kind of build this into concrete5 and make concrete5 a magazine made just for me. In fact, when we first started thinking of this in the basement, we were calling it the zine, and that made a lot of sense until I started writing it, and everyone would call it the zine, and it just pissed me off. So now we're just going to call it the grid, and it's full of tiles instead of being a zine full of stamps. To take this back a level, because that's what I do, you could look at blogging and its prevalence in like the, I don't know, whatever, early mid-zeros as an answer to CMS is really a way to organize pages, right? So it's really not that hard to edit text on a web page. We had a version of concrete5 we called editapage.com ages ago where you could put a little snippet of code in a single HTML page, and that would give you a tiny MCE instance, and then you could just FTP the thing back up, and it would just give you a static file. Very simple solution. I think someone actually is making money with something. One of our kind of lightweight competitors treats problems that way. And it works because you're basically bowing out of the navigation problem, right? So it's easy to edit stuff on a website. The hard part is how do you organize all the pages? How do I build a nav? How do I manage this? Is it a web? Is it a tree? Is it whatever? And blogging, brilliantly, they said, well, it's just a reverse chronological list of pages. That's what you get. Deal. And that's simple. People can wrap their minds around it. No one else was really doing that. Took off. And people can get it. They can get started, and then they can get frustrated with the fact that, like, oh, I really want to be able to have a bunch of pages in a tree, and you can kind of add that stuff on. We went more of the tree route. We got these navigations that let you build stuff. They're not the most intuitive thing on earth. The zine or grid is really our answer to that. Of how should I summarize content and aggregate it? Well, we think in one of these nice flexible tile-based systems. Yeah. So let's look at it again, shall we? Because it's prettier than me. So the idea here is you would put a feed, or a grid block on a page, perhaps on your home page, and then you could point it to parts of your site and say, go ahead and aggregate all these pages underneath whatever, underneath blog or underneath community, whatever you want to call it. And it would go pull some summary content out across those pages. So these little squares or rectangles are tiles. They have a form factor, and they would be associated with your page. And you would be able to change the size of these tiles, and you'd be able to rearrange them a bit. So you could organize things the way you would like. You would be able to interact with these tiles. If you click one of these comments has some overlays. So without even going to the page, you could add a comment or see a larger version of an image or something. These tiles would represent things that we know are on the page. We're introducing something called features as kind of like not a required but a implied set of attributes that we're looking for at a page level. And so that would let us do things like say, look, this page is a event and and has a photo gallery on it.
Pull that data out into
pull that out
views
easily.
that
So
aggregate.
you could still have multiple blogs on those pages, trying to kind of divorce the thinking between page types are functional. Well, that's a good one. Let's leave that up. Pages are functional versus pages are form factors, layouts versus object models. The features attribute sets would help us with that. And so you could interact with this grid. You could get like a summary view of the page. You could go through the detail. You could post some messages against it. So messages will be built into the core as part of something we're going to call conversations. And you can kind of you can use this as a way to summarize stuff on your site. The other key bit to add to this is with a grid block, you would also be able to point it to feeds from third-party services. So you've got a Facebook page for your company, and you've got a Twitter account, and if you've got a Pinterest account for your company, I don't know, or maybe it's a personal site, you've got much more. You could add those feeds to your grid, and it would make tiles that intermixed all of that stuff together.
Yeah.
So tiles could exist that don't yet map to pages, but they simply map to RSS news about dentistry because you're a dentist site. Then when someone interacts with a tile, if I'm, for example, a dentist site and I'm pulling in dentistry news, and someone's like, oh my god, I don't need teeth anymore, great, I want to post to that because my teeth are horrible, then that would make a page in your site. And you would start to be able to engage with that content.
Yeah.
And the last tidbit in that is, hypothetically, there could even be a post option to the grid, much like our document library add-on has an optional upload file. And if we were to do that post to the grid thing, we would build it in such a way that you could post back to those third-party services. So our thinking in the big picture is one might set up a concrete5 site for yourself and use it to aggregate any number of these different social networks into a personal site where you actually own the content and can call it yourself and actually curate it. We want people to be playing with their grids. A measure of success for us strategically is, does this thing feel like something you want to come back and check every morning and every night? Hey, I want to tinker with this, and I'd like this picture to be bigger and that thing to be smaller. So that's not everything, but that's a lot of talk.
That should give people
there
a lot
you
to
go.
think about. That's the thinking behind it.
There's some thinking. Yeah.
And to make all that stuff work in a compelling way, we are adding a fair number of stuff under the hood, like Franz mentioned, moving the discussions into the core. They're going to actually take on quite a dramatically different. It's not going to be moving the discussion add-on as it exists today into the core. We have learned some lessons regarding that. And expect it to look and feel a lot more like, I don't know if you've ever used any centralized discussion services like Discus or anything like that, but in terms of its speed, responsiveness, and the way that it works just out of the box, it will probably feel a lot more like Discus or like a souped up version of our guest book that is, has persistent administrative tools in the back end instead of, actually making pages of types in your site.
Sometimes we solve problems in a very flexible way at the price of performance, and just, hey dude, they're discussions, can we just make that a table and like have that work? So
or we get caught up in the fact that we already have so many awesome tools. We have pages, attributes, and blocks are such flexible, awesome tools for the problems they solve that it's very easy to use them to solve anything. And that's its core. That's a trade-off, because I could definitely, just making discussions pages gets you permissions, it gets you all the stuff, but it comes with a significant performance price, and just a lot of. You don't get as much flexibility when these things are pages. You don't get the ability to attach them, quickly to anything.
So completely new conversation system built into the core. Where are you at, Matt? What do we got?
I think we just got a quick question from John the Fish. Will the tiles be pluggable? So if I have a source and no grid tile exists, I can create a plugin for it? That sounds
source. No grid. So you just want to like stick some HTML in a grid at a specific spot. Yeah, I can see ways of making that happen. Something. I can see them solving that problem. So I'm building a grid, I'm aggregating these pages, but I just want to put like a box right here that's like, I love paste. I would imagine that I would probably end up with we'll post a page that has a tile that says I love paste.
I think he actually means like I see this maturing, or will these be? Can they write plugins to for the feed aspects of tiles? So if you can integrate a Facebook feed or a Twitter feed into a grid, could a developer write one to put your Pinterest entries?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The answer to that is yes. Yeah. It will be packageable.
Packagable, nice ins and outs. The only thing that I'll probably try to be a stickler for is I really want to make it so if you can pull things in, you can push stuff back.
Yeah.
So if you've got ingestion scripts, I would like to have post-back scripts too.
And the idea behind the feature concept, which we kind of have, there's a lot here. So we, for the sake of not going on all day, we've kind of gone over some of these concepts quickly. The idea behind that is that there are sort of interfaces to common functionality. So, for example, if we include photo gallery type functionality in the core, one might add a gallery to a page, and then the zine, or I'm still using the old stuff.
It's grid now, man.
The grid,
grid.
The grid will use the ability to aggregate all those pages, and if it finds one that has a photo gallery on it, it would show little pictures that you could next your way through right from that aggregation page. Well, that's cool and all, but what if someone else has their own awesome photo gallery from the marketplace? Well, the idea behind features is that if both of these things, the core photo gallery and any other photo gallery, say that they implement this photo gallery feature that the grid uses, then they can work interchangeably.
So it's a standardized way to summarize this content that
yes.
on the page.
Yeah, and then you can also use it to get rid of page types that are used for object models and clean up your site. It will help a lot. It will help a lot.
What else you got, Matt?
I think that's it.
Sweet.
Unless I missed a question here, I think that covers everything people have asked.
All right. Well, guys, it's been very exciting. I see there's a lot of conversation going on about 5.7. I'm trying to kind of I'm going through those posts a little bit as they come in. I'm just going to make a couple of notes and post back for the weekend so we can keep conversation on track. But it looks like it's going pretty well. And yeah, it's been totally random.
Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific Time.